If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, if he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer, and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever. I don't think that power carries quite as much with those bigger guys. It's a little bit of a step. It's a step up, you know, like that. There's very few guys that keep that power as they keep going up and up and up in weight.
A lot of people think it's funny, like, oh, you're gonna fight Canelo, like you're saying you're gonna beat Canelo, like you're out of your mind, you lost to Tommy Fury in a split decision, how are you gonna beat Canelo?
Jake Paul is expected to fight Canelo Alvarez in May 2025, but Joe Rogan doubts the bout will happen. He argues that Canelo is too busy and won't wait around for Jake Paul. Rogan emphasizes that Canelo is a massive payday, which is why so many fighters want a shot at him. However, he remains skeptical about the fight materializing. Rogan also believes people dislike...
It's very fucking dangerous. Very dangerous.
And there's always somebody coming, right behind you. And these guys who've been at the top so long, you're like, all right, let me get somebody that's on my level. Canelo, he's been in the game just as long as me. And all right, let's just do this for this paycheck and then move on.
I think when they get to a certain level and they realize they only have a few fights left, they want the big money fights. And Canelo is obviously the biggest money fight. Even though Boots Ennis is a great fighter, most people don't know who he is yet.
Yeah.
And with Canelo, everybody knows who Canelo is. If you get the Canelo fight, that's red panties night.
Jake Paul simply because he started as a YouTuber. Many refuse to acknowledge Paul as a legitimate boxer, despite his wins over multiple UFC champions. Rogan defends Paul, praising his dedication and skills, stating that he has already proven himself in...
Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul if he wasn't this YouTube guy. He was just a boxer. And you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever. Knock him out with one punch like that. Like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing. He looks like a real boxer.
The ring. During a discussion, Rogan and Post Malone agreed that Canelo Alvarez is an absolute beast.
Do you think you can still throw down? Like if it had to happen? Like if Jake Paul called you out?
Well, he'd probably fuck me up.
Really?
He's a really good boxer. He's a good boxer.
What if it was kickboxing? He doesn't really know how to kickbox.
When I was a younger man and I had good knees, I could be kickboxing people, but I could barely get through a workout without being in pain now. There's a reality of knees and back.
They highlighted his dominance, skill, and experience, making him one of the best boxers in the world. While Paul has talent, they acknowledge Canelo's level is on another tier. Joe Rogan and Post Malone praised Canelo Alvarez's power, calling him one of the greatest boxers.
He's a beast.
He's a beast.
He's a beast.
Like I'm talking more about Jake. I want to see a UFC fight.
You want to see a UFC fight with Jake?
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to fight for the UFC.
Well, no,
he's
or
got a
MMA fight. MMA fight.
He'll do an MMA. He's got a contract with the PFL, which is another organization. They're throwing a lot of money around. They just signed Francis Ngannou, and Jake has a contract with them. So if he has an MMA fight, I think it has to be over there.
Of this generation, they highlighted his incredible career and willingness to face the toughest challenges. Many boxing professionals doubt a fight between Jake Paul and Canelo will happen. The biggest reason is Canelo's focus on his upcoming bout against Terence Crawford in September. Since he's preparing for another elite opponent.
You said that you'd like to go up against Canelo Alvarez. What gives you the right to call out a 59-2 boxer, one of the greatest of all time, when you've not yet proven yourself?
I'm predicting what's going to happen three more years from now.
So I'm
going to get to his skill level and beat him. I have one of the greatest self-belief systems in the world, and I know what I'm capable of, and with this new team, I can give Canelo a serious run for his money.
Would you ever do like exhibitions like that, or like people like Jake Paul call you out, or these like other big stars? Like, is that business-wise like even worth it?
When I'm done with boxing, why not? Maybe I'll do it. I think it's...
Like when you're done like competing at the highest level, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's good because what happened there is other people who never watch boxing or they don't know anything about boxing, they want to watch Jake Paul because he's coming from... He bring fans from other world, right? Yeah. That's good because everybody enjoy it.
Would you ever entertain that idea when you're done?
Maybe.
Most experts believe he won't entertain fighting Jake Paul anytime soon. Boxing analyst Max shares this skepticism. Boxing analyst Max believes that while Jake Paul is eager to fight Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican superstar won't entertain the idea. According to Max, Canelo is not interested in turning boxing.
Max?
Yeah.
Will we actually see this fight?
It's not impossible. He has 0% chance to beat Canelo Alvarez. This is the worst guy he could fight is Canelo Alvarez. The worst thing he could do.
No. Tell us why. I want your
because Canelo Alvarez is not playing games.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. Everything is muscle memory since he was a kid. He was a natural. He's fought every fighter there is. He's beaten light heavyweights, and he's a natural counterpuncher. You come to him, he just beats the hell out of you. There's no way in any universe Jake Paul could ever beat Canelo Alvarez. But I love the fact that he thinks he can. I love that about both Paul brothers. This is how it could happen, okay? How a fight could happen. He has to beat Tyron Woodley. That's not easy. Then he has to beat a striker in their prime, because Woodley's not in his prime anymore, right? Still an MMA guy, not a full-time boxer in his prime. Then he'd be 5-0. Then he needs to beat a striker who's his size and in his prime, but from MMA, so he still hasn't fought a boxer. He's 6-0. Then he needs to fight a pro boxer. Could be an inexperienced guy, but he's got to fight him. That's 7-0. Beat a more experienced pro boxer, 8-0. Beat a pro boxer his own size, 9-0. Beat a more experienced pro boxer his own size. He'd be 10-0, and now he's ready for an 8-round fight against a real fighter, right? Then you got to beat that guy. It takes a while to build up a world-class 10-round fighter, and he'll always be at a disadvantage against guys with amateur backgrounds because they have muscle memory. We saw it in UFC 264. Stephen A., remember the Hardy fight? Mm-hmm. So he's fighting a guy with muscle memory. Hardy's an athlete.
Into an entertainment show. He views Jake Paul as more of an entertainer than a real competitor and does not see him as a worthy opponent. Despite Paul tweeting about the potential fight, many remain skeptical. Some call it impossible, while others dismiss it as just a rumor. However,
and then for your girlfriend Yuta to win Olympic gold.
Yeah, we just have all the belts.
That's insane.
In the world.
That's crazy.
And then we should just retire after that.
So look, are you happy with your performance in the fight? Are you happy with the way the night went down?
I wish he would have, put up a better fight, so then I could have risen more and done more. And he was surviving.
He was.
So
before you went out,
it's worked up. But I think that everybody just wants him to win, wanted Mike to win. But
dude, people really don't like us, Jake. People really want to see you get knocked out.
Yeah, what did I ever do to anyone?
Well, you climbed on top of the KTLA news van.
Hilarious.
You wasted the government's money.
How?
Because the FBI had to raid your house.
They wasted their own money. They wasted their own money. Why would they do that? I didn't. And then, nothing ever came from it. They didn't even know what they were doing.
Lido believes Canelo might actually accept the fight. According to Lido, this could be an easy money fight for Canelo, which might tempt him to take the offer. One of the biggest discussions surrounding this potential fight is its broadcasting platform. If Jake Paul versus Canelo happens on Netflix, it could explode the internet due to the...
All right, let's do this. Canelo versus Crawford, confirmed. Not a rumor, not speculation, not he said, she said, or someone leaking the story. Confirmed. And I guess the confirmation doesn't get much more rock solid than the Ring Magazine putting this story out first. Ring Magazine, obviously owned by Turkey. Turkey would have been the one to put this deal together, and Turkey would have had to give the green light for the Ring Magazine to even put that story out. That's as confirmation as you need it. That's it. The fight will happen in September. Touch wood, no injuries. Wow. Easily the biggest fight of 2025. I said a few days ago, Benavidez Morale was my most intriguing fight of 2025. Obviously, that's now been put down to second place because this has been announced. Nothing can be announced to top this.
The platform's massive global reach. With the hype surrounding Paul, this event could break streaming records and introduce boxing to an even wider audience.
He believes that before retiring, Canelo should fight him instead of Jake Paul. Benavidez argues that both he and Canelo have multiple titles and are among the greatest in the sport. He sees himself as a legitimate challenge for Canelo, unlike Jake Paul, whom people view as someone trying to bring entertainment to boxing rather than real competition. Regardless of the criticism, there is no denying that Jake Paul has changed the boxing landscape. He has introduced the sport to a new audience. People who weren't even interested in boxing before are now watching because of him. His ability to market fights and attract millions of viewers has reshaped how boxing events are promoted. Paul has repeatedly called out Canelo Alvarez. Paul has made it clear that Canelo has been on his radar for a long time. Despite the doubts and mockery from boxing fans, he remains persistent in pursuing this fight.